Cleaning the throttle body is one maintenance item you should do on a schedule because build-up in the throttle body is a frequent cause of stalling, rough engine running, and other drivability issues. However, several people experience a rough or high idle after this cleaning, especially if the throttle body is drive-by-wire or electronic. There's one major cause of this, and today I'll be sharing how you can avoid this issue and get the perfect idle every time right after cleaning your throttle body. Now let's get this. The main reason why you may experience a rough or high idle after cleaning the throttle body is because most newer cars require the throttle body adaptation service function using a scan tool after it's been cleaned. And note that throttle adaptation is different from idle speed relearn. I'm using the X-Tool A30M here, but several other scan tools can also do this. Here you can see some of the manufacturers that support throttle body adaptation, though there may be variations across years and models. If you have an older car that uses a cable-controlled throttle body, you're less likely to experience this simply because of the design of that system. A throttle body adaptation or calibration resets the learning value stored in the ECM. This learning value is simply a correction factor. The thing is that as carbon builds up in the bore of the throttle body, if the ECM commands the butterfly valve to open by say 10%, that carbon buildup is going to end up constituting some restriction to airflow, meaning that if there's no correction factor, opening the butterfly valve by 10% will over time draw in lesser air because of the increasing carbon buildup. And so to compensate, the ECM uses a learning value to build in an additional opening angle to about say 15% for something that should have been 10% in order to ensure that the engine still gets that same X amount of air. The learning value also corrects for wear in the internal components of the throttle body, for example gears or springs. Suddenly cleaning the carbon without resetting the learning value means that the ECM will still go for the higher compensatory opening angle and then draw in too much air for the available fuel, leading to the rough idle or drivability issues that you experience. Now once you've reset the learning value, you also have to relearn the idle speed, which helps set the new learning value after the throttle body has been cleaned. As you can see here, because I've reset the learning value, my scan tool is saying that the idle learn procedure is incomplete. Each manufacturer has a different procedure for relearning the idle, and you can generally find what that procedure is online. For Honda in general, you just have to bring the car to operating temperature by holding the RPM at 3000, and once at operating temperature you leave the car to idle until the idle is relearned. Note that simply disconnecting the negative terminal of the battery doesn't guarantee that the learning value is reset. This is because on newer cars that value is stored in the non-volatile part of the ECM. However, if you don't have a scan tool, you may stand a better chance of completing that reset by leaving both terminals disconnected for at least 15 minutes. On some cars, you may even need to join the disconnected negative and positive terminals for this to happen. Another thing here is that some car brands are less impacted by not resetting the learning value just because of the way they are designed. From my experience, idle speed on Toyota tends to go wonky if the throttle adaptation and relearn isn't done, and the car may end up running rough over a period of time while it slowly corrects the idle speed. Have you had to do throttle body adaptations in the past? Hit me up in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you've loved this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!